If you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to help me out with the production of more content for this channel, then please consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description down below.
Rolf respects your vow to uphold the sticky notes of elders, yet you must be punished.
What is that, Rolf?
The hat of discipline. Do you live in a cave? All is forgiven.
Thank you, Rolf.
Hello everybody, this is SeetherCord and welcome to another installment of my SeetherTalks series here on YouTube. I believe this is probably the first episode of SeetherTalks I've made in like a month now. I believe the reason why is because I remember before that 1 month period ago, like a month and a half ago, I was doing nothing but upload like SeetherTalks videos. I think I made like 5 or 6 in a row. And then after that, I felt like maybe it would just be more important to focus on other stuff and pretty much not turn the SeetherCord channel into the SeetherTalks channel. So I did focus a lot more on implementing the new top 10 series as well as the furry review / analysis series going forward a little more. But I'm just joking though, it's just with those two series, I still haven't gotten enough resources or time available yet to really go back into those series, but they will come back, I promise you. I promise on my grave those 2 series will have new episodes, I can promise you that. But anyway, now that we got that lighthearted update out of the way, we can now get into some dark shit. Today on SeetherTalks, I'm going to tell you guys about my experience going into the deep web and the dark web of the internet, and how I highly, highly suggest to people who have never done it to not get interested in doing it. Don't do it. I'm being legit serious. Do not do it. And I'm not necessarily telling people not to go onto the dark web just because of the fact that it could just mentally scar you and there's a lot of really fucked up shit on there. It's more so because of the fact that if you don't be extremely careful, you could accidentally click on something that could get your ass thrown in jail and get the FBI knocking on your door. I want you guys to know that I spent a couple of months debating in my head whether or not to make this video because I didn't want to be too risky with going on the dark web and accidentally get myself in trouble. And I was kind of nervous that I was going to encourage you guys to potentially do it because you guys, whenever I tell you guys to not do something, you end up doing it anyway. I will say I do have a friend online that I have been talking to for a few years who's a good friend of mine, which will remain anonymous for this video. And he gave me a lot of tips and tricks for how to be safe on the dark web and the deep web for the making of this video. Before we go into my experience with being on the dark web and the deep web, let me explain to you guys what these are as a whole. So the internet is basically split into 3 different portions. There's the surface web, the deep web, and the dark web. The surface web is what everyone in the general public sees. This is what every person in the world pretty much knows of. You got your Google, you got your YouTube, you got your Twitter, you got your Facebook, you got your Pornhub, you got your blackpeoplemeet.com, you got your farmersonly.com, you got Xvids, all that good shit. And then we got the deep web, and the thing that makes the deep web not the dark web is that the deep web is stuff that is still pretty easily accessible. It's just that it's not found through search engines. Let me give you guys an example. A website known as 8chan has been blacklisted from Google search and is technically a part of the deep web because of the fact that if you Google search 8chan, you won't find the website. In order to access that website, you have to go and search up 8chan, click on the Wikipedia page, and click the link to the website from the Wikipedia page. The reason why Google blacklisted and put 8chan in the deep web was because of the fact that people were sharing child porn on the site. And the final portion of the internet is the dark web. The dark web is a bunch of websites that can only be accessed through a certain web browser. Your typical web browsers such as Google Chrome and Firefox cannot access these websites regularly. The most popular way to get to these websites is by using a web browser known as Tor. That's because when you get a lot of these like deep web browsing videos, be it from Some Ordinary Gamers or Etika, a lot of the time these people will use this browser to access it. So now we're going to get to the juicy part of this video, which is my experience with deep web and dark web browsing as a whole. Now what I did to make sure I kept myself safe and anonymous online when I was going through the dark web is that I also made sure that I had a VPN and a VirtualBox installed on my computer. I made sure I got myself a VPN so that way that it hides my IP address and I can pretend I'm like in China or something at the moment. And I also got the VirtualBox so that way it doesn't detect my computer, and also so that way I can make sure I don't install viruses. And to the people who are curious, a VirtualBox is basically where you're running a computer inside of your computer. I have done this one other time in the past, a few years ago, when I wanted to run Windows 7 on my MacBook. And it's not really something that difficult or complex to pull off. So now let's get into the really disturbing things that I saw on the dark web. The first really messed up group of things that I found on the dark web is snuff films. If you don't know what a snuff film is a pornographic film that actually depicts a murder. That is right, it's a porno where they actually kill someone. I did run into one, but I did not want to watch it. I didn't watch it at all. I just made sure not to see it, but there's quite a few on there, and you can easily get access to those by downloading them and such, but I wasn't even going to touch that in any way. Another really messed up thing that I found was a website where they were just advertising buying sex slaves. What they showed was pretty much just naked girls tied up and with like prices on them and be like, you can buy this girl, her name's Sandy or something, and we can order them to you right now as your very own sex slave. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? And once again, when I got too disgusted by it, I just left and went to something else on the dark web. Another really fucked up thing on here is that you can also hire assassins. That's right, guys. There are websites that are dedicated to hiring hitmen to kill people for you. Another predominant thing on the dark web are websites that are dedicated to buying drugs. They were showing off pictures of flat out crack cocaine or crystal meth or ecstasy that you could just easily buy. Hell, they even had fucking coupon codes for them. So that way, if you buy this, you can get your next pound of crack 10% off. Or if you refer us to another user, you can get your next pound of crack or meth for 25% off. And then I thought to myself, like, what is this, fucking Audible? One final website I saw on the dark web, which is, in my opinion, the most tame of all the ones I'm listing here, yet it's still fucked up and illegal, was websites where you could order fake IDs, passports, and visas. Pretty much just buying yourself a legal citizenship into the United States. You would pretty much just send in your picture, they would just make you a fake ID and ship it out to you. That was when I really started to think, like, how is the US government or the police not able to catch these people? And then I think to myself, the dark web is extremely difficult to trace down these people for, and that's why they still get away with it to this day. But the last thing that I saw that more so just kind of disgusts me and doesn't really get any sense of humor to me is the aspect of there being a lot of child pornography. And the aspect of there being quite a bit of child pornography on the dark web is probably the main reason as to why I highly suggest you watching that if you want to go on the dark web not to do it, because easily clicking on that stuff or viewing that stuff could get you in serious trouble with the law. And next thing you know, the FBI could just be knocking on your door and they could be like, were you looking at kiddie porn? And they're like, I didn't mean to, but be like, too bad. I really do not want that to happen to you guys. So please, that is like the main reason as to why I would suggest you guys not to do that. So that's pretty much my entire experience with going on the dark web. Overall, I would say that this is a very dangerous thing to do. I know it's a very trendy thing with being like, oh, let's look at a bunch of creepy stuff online. But unless you're extremely knowledgeable and have already have a lot of experience with doing this, don't do this. I would highly suggest not to do that. It's very dangerous and you can get into a lot of trouble with that. So please, I'm asking you guys again, do not do this. So that's pretty much it for this episode of SeetherTalks for today. What do you guys think about the dark web and the deep web and like accessing hidden things online? Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section down below. If you enjoy my content and want to further help out my channel, please consider donating to my Patreon page, hitting that like button, turning on that notification bell, and subscribing altogether. I have been SeetherCord and I will see you guys next time. So, goodbye everyone. Remember guys, stay safe out there. Laters. Another thing I want to address before the episode ends, because we got like 2 minutes.
Next time in programs.
Oh, no.
This is the Legion.
Real now. Yo, niggas, this is something crazy. What's it doing? 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 What's it doing?